Hey MK3 fam, it's your girl Works. I just had to come and talk about Lovecraft Country. But before I do, I wanted to say, hey, hope y'all are doing great. I really wanted to do this after each episode, but time got away from me. I just haven't been feeling myself. So there are going to be some spoilers. I watched episode 5 and 6 together. This is a show that comes on HBO if you don't know. And if you're not watching Lovecraft Country, you need to go watch Lovecraft Country. But I want to let you know it is set during the civil rights time. So there is a lot of um, unjust things that are happening, but very similar today. So some of that is hard for me to watch because it's a shame that we are still going through a lot of that today. But it is a really good show. It has a magical component, a supernatural component. It has some very smart, funny, sexy characters. They deal with a lot of things on there that are, was controversial then and controversial today. So, really good show. I like it. And it deals with the Foremans, who are the main family, and the Braithwaites. So, episode 5 and 6. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. It answered every question I had, basically, because I wanted to know um, who was the woman that Tick kept calling. That's Atticus. That Tick kept calling on the phone every now and again. Who was she? They said who that was. I wanted to know, because somehow I couldn't figure out his name, but I know it now. Who was William? Because y'all saw William. William beat the brakes off them two cops that kept telling Christina. I wanted to know who was that person or thing or entity that was moaning in Captain Lancaster's office, and we found all of that out. So back to episode 5. Okay, so episode 5 starts out with a banger because remember Ruby, she and William, they wound up having sex, and when it starts off, she wakes up and she is a full white lady. But am I the only one that noticed? You know what? I'm sure I'm not. But if you didn't notice, that the lady that is playing Ruby when Ruby is now magically turned into a white woman, she is that vampire Shoggoth wrangler from I think episode 1 or 2. Remember she would blow the whistle and the things would come back or whatever. Same thing that Christina used. It's that same woman. I was just like, I know that's that lady. I know I'm very good with faces. I said, I know that's that lady. I know that's that lady. So anywho, she done slept with him and now she done turned into a whole white lady. Totally different shape and height. Just a mess. And then you see how she kept trying to apply to that Marshall's store, the department store. They wouldn't take her. And now that she's a white lady, she has the same uh, education and experience. And now they're making her an assistant store manager. And she was just trying to get in to be like a little perfume clerk. I said, look at that. So that was just something else to see that William has turned her into that. I was just like, what? And when Ruby went into Captain Lancaster's office and you saw that that man was strung up in that closet, I don't know which was worse. Me thinking a ghost was in there or a zombie or seeing that man strung up, bleeding, no tongue. I mean, oh my gosh, that was crazy. Okay, so episode 5 ended where we found out that Christina was actually William. But one thing that I was wondering is, remember when she was talking to Ruby and she was trying to get Ruby to put that stuff in that captain's office and she was telling her that, I think that's the scene that it was in. She was telling her that the captain thought he killed William. He shot him in the back and they dumped him in the water and he left him there for dead, and she wanted to show them that William wasn't dead. So I don't know whether she was lying to Ruby to get Ruby to feel obligated to do it, or if William was a person, he got murdered and now she's taking on his persona sometimes with that magical potion. Who really knows? I don't know. But if I was Ruby, I would have punched her in the throat. That's what I know. Now, episode 6 was not as exciting as episode 5, but it definitely um, gave us more insight into Atticus and who he was before he came back to town to check on his father. So you saw what kind of soldier he was, and he did some pretty bad things, but you could see where he was torn, like his soul was torn by some of the actions that he had to take while he was serving in the military. And then poor, I'm sure I'm going to butcher her name, Jaya, her, although she was not human, she wanted to be loved, and um, she didn't want to just be a monster. She wanted people to love her for who she was and the things that she liked. So that was just interesting. It was just a lot going on, So I definitely enjoyed seeing the part, based in South Korea, and seeing, but now I want to know, how does she know so much? Just because she is supernatural doesn't mean she's going to necessarily know everything. But, she definitely could see into the future, and or not necessarily in the future, but psychically she could know what was supposed to happen. And she said that never happened before. So what's the reason that normally when she would be with somebody, she would see their memories from the time they were born to the time she killed them, but she never saw their future. So I'm just wondering what was so different about Atticus. Is it because his blood was spelled to be magic based on what Titus had did? But since I really like Letty and Tick together, I'm going to need the girl from South Korea's involvement to be very minimal, because I don't want him feeling torn. He definitely did have feelings for her, and she clearly had feelings for him, and I don't want the entanglements. I want this to just, she going to have to stay in South Korea. So I'm not sure what is going to happen with that, but I'm definitely looking forward to future episodes. For some of you, you may not watch the show, so this may be all over the place for you. You might not know nothing about what I'm talking about, but if you want to find a good show to watch, I say give Lovecraft Country a shot, because HBO does put out some good shows, from True Blood to Game of Thrones. I mean, it is some Westworld. They put out some good shows, and this is one of them. So I'll be coming in and checking in with y'all next week to see what's happening next week. All right, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and you guys know what it is. Bye!